Good afternoon, folks. In these days of social distancing, self isolation, work in place, we need a bit of a change of pace. So, today, for today's pick of the day, we have a bouquet of 4 volumes entitled, need to look, oh, the collected shorter writings of J.I. Packer by James and Al Packer. And back in the day, this was in the early 1990s, when we were experiencing explosive growth as a bookstore, we had enough cash to be dangerous. And so we were able to venture out into bringing speakers in and even into doing some publishing, which we have continued all along, but at a little slower pace. And we had this idea about Jim's shorter writings were spread all over the places. Jim in the foreword calls them a mass of fugitive pieces, but still very timely and useful in at least many of them, even if they are a bit dated. So we gathered dozens of articles. One of our employees, Jim Lister, keyed them all in, which was a labor of love over quite a period of time. And we had a mass of this material, and we were still a little fledgling and didn't have the means really to pull it off. So Paternoster agreed to publish them for us, and so we have these 4 volumes that came about. They've since gone out of print, but we've reprinted them as paperbacks, and you can find them on our Aereo site. I will read just one passage here from a chapter entitled Seeing God in the Dark. How do you find strength in God when your world is in ruins? And I will read just a short passage. It's about the life of David when he was young. His fellow followers, troops, were out marauding, and they came back to their village called Ziklag and found it in ruins. And David stood before his own house, and it was in ruins. The secret of strength. David prayed, suggests someone. Yes, in due course he did. But that, I am sure, was not what came first. When feelings of despair overwhelm you, rational prayer is beyond you. You are like a person being swept downstream towards the falls. You must recover your footing on the stream bed, or you are lost. The secret of recovering your footing spiritually at such a time lies in the little word think. The secret of strength. David prayed, suggests someone. Yes, in due course he did. But that, I am sure, was not what came first. When feelings of despair overwhelm you, rational prayer is beyond you. You are like a person being swept downstream towards the falls. You must recover your footing on the stream bed, or you are lost. The secret of recovering your footing spiritually at such a time lies in the little word, think. And that was undoubtedly where David began. He thought. He did not wait to feel better, but argued with the emotions that were telling him all was lost. He made himself recall what he knew of God and thought out how it all applied to him at that moment. Thus, he found strength in the Lord. Thus, he calmed his soul. Thus, he prepared himself to pray. Strengthened by thought is the formula that fits. The medievals would have called David's action meditating, and the Puritans would have described it as preaching to oneself. Less important than deciding what to call it is learning to do it. It is a discipline we all need to master. And that's a good word from Jim for our times, and may God bless you